Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Jackie and I'm here to help you prepare for your U.S. naturalization interview and pass it with flying colors. You've been waiting for this moment for months, maybe even years, and the big day is finally here. I know how much this means to you and I want to make sure you walk in feeling confident, prepared, and ready to succeed. Today, I'm going to share things you should do before and during your naturalization interview. Some of these things may seem simple, but together they can make a huge difference in how the interview goes. All right, let's dive in. Review your N-400 application thoroughly. Print your N-400 application and read every single question and answer before your interview. Make note of any mistakes you want to correct. Any changes since you applied, such as an address change, new trips, marital status updates, children, or traffic tickets. Also, be prepared for questions about previous immigration applications, especially if you got your green card through asylum, marriage, or employment. Your USCIS officer knows your file, but you should know it even better. Be familiar with your entire immigration journey. When you applied, what forms you filed, and what answers you provided in the past. If you struggle to explain your case clearly, practice with a friend or family member, or even in front of a mirror if you need to. And if you want to make sure if you got it nailed down, we provide live Zoom mock interviews on Zoom so you can practice in real time with feedback. You'll find the link in the description below. Understand the interview format. Every applicant's experience is a little different, but there's a general flow. Check in at the field office, and there's a waiting period until your name is called, the oath taking before the interview begins, the civics test, reading and writing portions, the review of the N-400 application. I have several videos walking you through what the process feels like, but remember, each officer may have their own style. That's why practicing for your own specific case is so valuable. Study for every part of the test. I can't emphasize enough that the civics test is not the only portion of the interview. That's a common mistake. During your interview, the officer is testing three main things: your knowledge of U.S. history and government, which is the civics test, your ability to read and write English, your ability to speak and understand English. Failing any part of this will result in a second interview. And if you fail the second interview, your application will be denied and you have to resubmit your application and pay for it again. You definitely don't want to do that. Some officers casually test your English by asking small talk questions about your day, the weather, or your weekend. Treat every question as part of the exam. A small percentage of officers might also ask you about the definition of some of the words on the N-400 form during the interview to ensure you fully understand what you filled out. I've seen over and over again applicants fail the interview for not being able to provide the definitions for some of these words. So be prepared and have a basic understanding of the words on the N-400 application. If you need help, I've made a few videos to help you and you can check them out here. Bring your appointment notice and proper IDs. You must bring your appointment notice with you to the interview, along with your green cards, both expired and non-expired ones. If your appointment notice didn't arrive on time, you can always print a copy from your online account under the Documents tab. Some officers will ask for passports or a state-issued ID, such as a driver's license. And if someone is accompanying you to the interview, that person also needs to provide a state-issued ID. Bring all supporting documents. The checklist in your appointment notice is a generic list for all applicants. You need to bring additional evidence based on your case. For example, if you owe taxes, you should bring tax transcripts and the IRS payment plan. If you applied through marriage, you should bring documents to show that your marriage is real. If you have underage children who don't live with you, you should bring proof of child support. Why bring extra? Sometimes the officer needs to recheck original documents, verify details, or update information. If you can't provide something they request, you might get an N-400 form, which further delays your case. And failure to respond to the N-400 form will cause your application to be denied. So it's better to be over-prepared and bring everything. And one more thing, if a document is in a foreign language, make sure to bring the original and a certified translated copy in English. Dress professionally, but comfortably. Think of it as a job interview, because in a way it is. You're applying for the biggest position of your life, U.S. citizenship. For men, long pants, a buttoned shirt or sweater, and closed-toed shoes. For women, long pants or a skirt with a blouse, or a modest dress. You don't need to be overly fancy, but looking neat and professional shows respect for the officer and for the process. And remember, some field offices schedule your oath ceremony for the same day, so you'll want to look nice for your photos. Arrive early. Aim to arrive at least 30 minutes early. This gives you a buffer for traffic, parking delays, or long security lines. Being early also helps you settle your nerves. It's far better to be sitting calmly in the waiting area than rushing and stressed and flustered. Show good posture and manners. The way you carry yourself matters. Sit up straight, relax your shoulders, and make good eye contact. Smile when appropriate. You want to appear confident and respectful, but not arrogant or overly casual. Listen carefully and don't guess. Officers may phrase questions differently than they appear on the form. For example, instead of, "Have you ever failed to file your taxes?" they might ask, "Do you always file your taxes on time?" If you're not sure what they mean, it's perfectly fine to ask them to repeat or rephrase the question. You can say, "Officer, can you repeat the question, please?" Never guess a question and try to answer it. Take some time to process the questions and answer them clearly and slowly. There's no rush. Be truthful. Always. You will be under oath, and USCIS already has your records. Don't try to withhold information or lie because you think the truth might hurt your chances of getting U.S. citizenship. If you don't know the answer to a question, don't make up the answer. Just plainly say that you don't know the answer. If you're caught lying, your application will be denied, and your citizenship can even be revoked later. Honesty is always the safest route. Get legal advice if you have any criminal record. If you have any arrests, charges, or convictions, it's often wise to consult an immigration attorney before your interview, and sometimes even have them attend with you. But remember, the officer will still direct most questions to you. USCIS recently released a memo about how they will assess good moral character moving forward, and it's important for you to understand, so make sure to check out this video here. Be respectful. Not every officer will be warm and chatty, and that's okay. Don't be intimidated. Think of it as a job interview. Don't be rude to the officer even if you disagree with their assessment. Stick to the facts and treat the officer with respect. If you believe you were treated unfairly, you can ask to speak to a supervisor after the interview. Finally, enjoy the process. This is a milestone you'll remember for the rest of your life. Don't let nerves take away from this special moment. Check out my mock interview videos to see what the process feels like and let me know in the comments when you pass. Good luck, you've got this.